wa kaunti yo kwa hinda riri mwiroreri tugukorwo tugithie imwe kwa imwe nginyagia kuria KICC kuria President William Ruto aratongoria kirugurio kia miario ya bũrũri egie uthii wa nambere wa bũrũri twambe tuthikiririe maria marathie nambere ni tugucokereria.
The vision bearers then who provided a platform for us to put together what today is finally in the sunset years. Vision 2030 has provided a framework for us to figure out our development. It set out that Kenya should be an industrialized nation, middle income, high quality of life, in a safe environment. All the targets we set for ourselves, we have been given a review of where we are on the economic pillar, on the social pillar, on the political pillar, and the enablers. And we have been given a scorecard by the Vision 2030 Secretariat. We have done fairly well in many aspects. We've done well in others more than others. We've been given the figures on the political pillar. We are at 80 plus. I think we have an A. And you can see it. We have a new constitution. We have a robust Bill of Rights. We have a democratic state. We have an open society, a rule of law. We have a working judiciary. We have a civil society that is not constrained. And we have made ourselves a very proud nation. In fact, globally, Kenya is recognized as a democratic country. It is part of the reason why in 2023-24, I paid a visit to America, and the single most important component was the fact that we share in our celebration of freedom and democracy. We have been given indication as to where we are with the economic pillar. In fact, I think of all the pillars, the economic pillar is where we have done not very well, at around 50, I think it was 52, 53%. On the social pillar, we are at around 60. We have made progress. Today, we have significantly in our region, we've done very well in terms of paved roads. We have 20,000 kilometers of paved roads. We have a working SGR. We have an expressway. We have dualed some of our roads. We've extended electricity. We now have 10,000 homes. 10 million, 10 million households going to 11 million households connected to electricity. Our transition on education is significant. We have done very well. But why are we having this conversation? And I want to thank the people of Kenya. When I asked the country that it is time for us to have a national conversation about the long-term vision of our nation, we have been explained to why. Number one, Vision 2030 will come to an end in the next 3 years. Medium-term plan 4 is ending in 2027. For us to plan medium-term 5, medium-term plan number 5 is going to take from 2027 to 2032. Yet Vision 2030 is ending in 2030. So we need to have the longer term vision for us to be able to plan medium term 5. Reason number 1. Reason number 2, when we figured out Vision 2030, 20-something years ago, the world was much different from what we have today. Technology had not taken the space it occupies today. The advent of AI was not with us. We didn't have the serious effects of climate change the way we have today. We had a completely different situation. It is important that at this point in time, we give ourselves another opportunity to think about the long-term development of Kenya in the context of the world that we live in today. Number 3, when Vision 2030 was developed, it was developed before the new constitution. The new constitution provides us with a better and clearer framework on how to think long-term. And therefore, it is important that we engage in this exercise in the context of a new constitution. A new constitution that does not request us to consult the people. No, it is mandatory. The reason why you find in some cases many people do not understand, do not relate to Vision 2030 was because there was no public participation to the extent that we know public participation as provided for in the Constitution at the moment. And therefore, we have an opportunity this time round, different from the opportunity that was in 2008, to formulate a long-term plan, one that is done by the people, not by government, not by bureaucrats, by the people themselves. And therefore, we need to give ourselves the opportunity, and this opportunity that we have to think about Kenya long term. We want to pick the minds of everybody. The farmers, entrepreneurs, students, technocrats, everybody. Let them tell us what kind of future that we all want to think about. And nobody should assume that any one of us has the monopoly of knowledge. This cannot be, and I make it very clear, this is not a government project. This is a people's project. So Kenyans must prepare themselves. It is a responsibility put on our shoulders collectively. And I will be speaking as a citizen as well, because I also have aspirations on what I think our country should be, beyond me being a leader today in Kenya. And number 4, just so that we contextualize this, the center of gravity, global gravity, in terms of growth, is moving to Africa. Africa today is pivotal. Why? Because of 4 reasons. Number 1, we have the largest reserves of renewable energy. We have the youngest population, a population that a quarter of the world's population will be living in our continent by 2050. Number 3, we have the largest market that is emerging. Number 4, we have the largest reserves of uncultivated arable land for food security going into the future. And therefore, as the center of gravity global growth moves to Africa, we must position Kenya appropriately so that we become that epicenter. It is for those 4 reasons in my thinking that this is the moment for us to imagine the Kenya that we all want into the future. Many people may say, this being a year where we are going into politics, maybe this should not be the opportunity for us. Now, I want to tell them, Kenya is bigger than any election. For far too long, we have made elections to look like it is a matter of life and death. It is not. Yes, it is important. And the reason why we have not achieved some of our targets is because we have made our plans not with the foresight of the future, not thinking about the next generation, but simply thinking about the next election. And that is how we haven't met some of our targets. And I speak from a position of knowledge, and I speak from a position of experience. It's not always that you become a president of a country. I have the privilege to be the president today. And I want to speak from that experience, that the pressure that always you have, even when you know as a leader this is the right thing to do, you are told always, this will affect your next election, don't do it. This will affect your next election, don't do it. Many are telling me, oh, why don't you concentrate on the next election? Leave this thing, it can be done some other time. I'm telling them, the next election will come and go. Kenya must think beyond the next election. Kenya must think for the next generation. And I want to ask all of us here to think beyond any election cycle or any administration. We must think about the next generation. Let me conclude. I hope I'm not taking too much time. Let me say the following. I have listened to the presenters. I've listened to Professor Anyang' Nyong'o. I've listened to Adrian, the good young man who is 7 years old. I have also listened to Professor Hino. And as we have this conversation, I have picked 4 things. Number 1, Professor Hino has said, for those countries that have succeeded, and he's given us examples of Singapore, Malaysia, he's told us about Vietnam, and all the other countries. What was central to their quantum leap was the people. Not the oil, not the gold or resources, it was the people. And we are lucky as a people of Kenya because we have the people, and they are very hard working. So we have what it takes to lift this country to the next level. Number 2, he has told us to pay attention to inequality. A very serious challenge in our nation is inequality. We have too many people who still sleep hungry. We have too many people who are jobless. We have too many people who don't have income. We cannot progress as a nation when we cannot take care of the vulnerable. So Professor Hino has told us 20% of the bottom poor account for only 5% of income, while 20% of the rich people, of those of us in the higher category, control 50% of income. So 20% bottom, 5% of income, 20% top, 50% of income, meaning 10 times what the bottom has. We have to pay attention. We have to pay attention. How we lift those low-income people, how they access, how their children go to school, how their medical bills are paid, how they access employment opportunities, and how we create equality. Number three, he has told us our opportunity is in raising small, medium, micro enterprises. We have an opportunity there. Sometimes we think they don't matter. But the good professor has told us that is where our opportunity is. How do we make micro, small, and medium enterprises grow? How do they access credit? How do they access opportunities? How do they access business? That should be we should pay attention. And then number 4, he has told us to pay attention to accountability, to dealing with corruption. He has told us 3 things. We now have a conflict of interest law, which we signed into law. There are many people who want to challenge it because it closes many doors on the people who have access to power, who want to use that power to access contracts and many things. Number 2, he has told us about EGP. We have been trying to implement EGP for many years. I am very happy that finally we have moved government procurement to an electronic platform where contracts can be transparent. We can know who is being allocated, which contract, for how much, and whether it matches the market parity. And he has told us that technology must play a very central role. I was listening to Mercy Mwangangi, our CEO of SHA, and he was saying the single most serious challenge he faces is how to stop fraud. And we are very happy that finally, using technology, we are able to stem theft, fraud, and corruption. And to the good professor who has said here, going forward, technology is going to play a significant role in us taking this forward. So, in conclusion, let me say this. To the people of Kenya, nobody has a monopoly of good ideas. Beyond Vision 2030 is our collective responsibility. We must step up. It is a constitutional responsibility to each one of us. It is an obligation to each one of us to implement the Constitution. And part of implementing that Constitution is to figure out how we appropriate, access, and avail all rights that are provided for in the Constitution to everybody in Kenya. Whether it is human rights, electoral rights, rule of law, access to water, access to education, freedom from hunger, making sure that the Constitution, what the Constitution says, that every citizen must access the highest standards of health, the highest standards of education, the highest standards of housing. It is our responsibility collectively for us to have a plan on how this is going to be attained. And we have the opportunity. I want to pledge here that government is not going to lead the talks. It is going to facilitate. This is about the people. Whatever platform that is required to be provided, we are going to provide the platform. Let the people, in their diversity, the religious community have ideas, private sector have ideas, farmers like myself have ideas, students have ideas, the academia have ideas, our good friends in civil society, they have ideas. Let us bring the cocktail of ideas and have a plan for our country into the future. It is our opportunity. Let us not abdicate. Let us not delegate. Let us not run away from that responsibility. It is our duty, it is our obligation constitutionally to make sure that we think about the future of our nation so that Adrian, sitting here with us, 7 years old, will know what the future is going to look like. Thank you very much. I hope I have not taken too much, but this is the opportunity for us, and I am very happy to be part of this as a Kenyan myself. And believe you me, I will be part of it as a Kenyan. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that, Your Excellency.
Mwiroreri ucio ni President William Ruto ari kuria nyumba-ini ya micemanio ya KICC